Question number 8 is labeled as a medium difficulty question, according to the HiSet. To me, this question can be a little harder. As I read it, we're talking about a tin container has a density of 7.2 grams per cubic centimeter and a volume of 180 cubic centimeters. What is the mass of the container in kilograms? The first thing I notice is kilograms, and this is grams. Those are not the same. But the other key word here is this word density. And for me, maybe this is why it's a harder question. We are always given a formula sheet on the HiSet. But as I look down my formula sheet, I see a lot of the math formulas. I do not see the word for density. So they're implying that you know the formula for density. I am going to deal with this kilogram to gram idea in a minute, but I first got to know density. And so they expect you to know that density is equal to mass divided by volume. So if you know that, I can then put in the information in the right spots. 7.2 is density. So 7.2, again, I'm going to put grams per cubic centimeter, so Q centimeters to the power of 3, is equal to mass divided by the volume, which I know is 180 centimeters to the third. Well, the math here is how do you get rid of something being divided? I want to know that spot up at the top. So the opposite of dividing is to multiply. So I'm going to take the 7.2 G per centimeters to the third, and I'm going to times it by 180 centimeters to the third. Now, I wrote this a little extra. I need you to understand if you have an idea on the top and on the bottom, and you might be like, well, how do you know that there's always a 1 on the bottom? You can cancel that. So when I do the math here, 7.2, and I'm going to times it by 180, I'm going to get a number. That number says 1,296, and those are grams. But you might want to jump to that answer. I know right now I'm between two numbers, right? But remember, they want the answer in kilograms. So if you're going too fast, you might make this mistake. But remember, 1 kilogram is 1,000. So if I have 1,000, really the answer is just 1. I know that C is this answer. Mathematically, how I canceled out ideas here, what I really am doing is I'm multiplying by what? I want to get rid of grams. So I put the grams in the bottom. That means I want to be left with kgs or kilograms on the top. And I just saw on my paper over here, if I move it over, 1,000 grams is the same as 1 kilogram. So when the grams cancel, I'm left with what I want, which is kilograms. And what this looks like, a lot of ways to type it in is the number we have in our calculator, 1,296, and I'm really dividing by 1,000. And then you have your nice 1.29 answer, which is C. Good luck. I think this is a difficult question. Again, I think it's coming down to, do you know that density equals mass divided by volume?